This is my vlog looking at skills versus capacities. I'll critique two of my athletes performing the overhead squat. This is a quick overview of my vlog. I will start by showing a demo of the overhead squat performed with an optimum movement strategy. I'll then analyse one of my athletes who has a lack of skill to perform the overhead squat optimally. Then I will analyse one of my other athletes who has not got the capacities to perform the overhead squat optimally. I'll then compare both athletes performing the overhead squat. This is a demo of the overhead squat, which I will use to refer to when analysing my athletes. As you can see, the demo athlete follows the red line throughout the lift, demonstrating there is little anterior lean. As you can see, the triangle pattern is created with his arms straight and the bar. This is maintained throughout. You can see that his torso remains upright and he maintains the same angle throughout the lift. He also shows that he gets into a deep squat with his knee angle at 54 degrees, with his heels not coming off the ground. I will now look at my athlete who has a lack of skill when performing the overhead squat. In comparison to the demo, you can see that he does not perform the optimum movement strategy. The athlete struggles to produce a fluid movement and the exercise looks unfamiliar to him, although the athlete does produce a triangle-like shape with his arms and the bar. He also squats to a similar depth to the demo, possibly suggesting he does have the mobility and sufficient dorsiflexion to complete this skill. He also produces lots of anterior lean, which is shown by crossing the red line. You can see his trunk is not the same as that of the demo and his heels slightly raise. This is a video of him performing a bodyweight squat, and as you can see he does have the ability to get down into a deep squat position. From this wall angel exercise you can see he also has the shoulder mobility. This handstand with his arms placed in a similar position to the overhead squat shows that the athlete also has the strength in the shoulders and core to hold his body upside down, suggesting he has the strength and capacities required for the overhead squat. This is my second athlete performing the overhead squat, who cannot perform the optimum movement strategy due to his incapacity to perform the exercise. Mobility, balance, flexibility and trunk stability have been shown to be the main capacities needed to perform the overhead squat. As you can see, the athlete struggles to get to the necessary squat position with his hands above his head. He does not maintain a triangle-like shape with the bar in his arms. He also does not maintain an upright trunk, showing lots of anterior lean over the red line. This could be because his lack of dorsiflexion at the ankle. This stops him from being able to move his knees forward and out, which inhibits him from sitting deep in between his legs. This wall angel demonstrates his lack of flexibility in his shoulders, which is vital to hold the bar above his head in the squat. This band-assisted overhead squat shows that with assistance he can get into the correct position. This works by supporting his trunk, enabling him to sit back on his heels and get into that squat position. These exercises are a good basis to suggest that it's due to the capacities of mobility and flexibility he cannot perform an optimum movement strategy of the overhead squat. Although, it must be noted that he also may not have learned the appropriate motor skill to produce an efficient overhead squat, as he is unfamiliar with the correct technique, as he has only practiced the exercise to his standard due to the limitations of his capacities. The athlete clearly needs to spend time working on his flexibility and mobility of his shoulders and his ankles, enabling him to get into that squat position. This will take time practicing special shoulder flexibility movements like wall angels, and practicing specific ankle flexibility exercises like knee to wall and assisted squatting, allowing him to get into these positions. I'll now compare the two athletes performing the overhead squat and see if there's any similarities. The athlete on the left manages to get to the deep squat position, possibly due to his greater range of dorsiflexion. The athlete on the right has a better bar positioning over the top of his crown compared to the one on his left. This could be because the athlete on the left has a lack of stability to keep the bar above his crown, or possibly because he has a lack of shoulder mobility in the sagittal plane, as we only looked at the frontal plane. Both produce lots of anterior lean over the red line, showing that the optimum movement strategy isn't being used. Although I deem the athlete on the left not being able to produce the optimum movement strategy due to his skill, and the one on the right due to his capacities, I think there are elements of both in each which affect them not being able to produce the optimum movement strategy of the overhead squat. If the exercise is not completed with the optimum movement strategy, this will be because a lack of motor control or a lack of capacities of the athletes to perform the skill. However, I do think that there are components which relate to each other, and I believe that they go hand in hand, and often not either or but a combination of both. To perform the skill in the most effective way possible, an athlete needs to be good at performing the actual skill and have sufficient capacities to express key qualities such as mobility and flexibility. This highlights skills and capacities are related, and the ability to perform skills may be linked to the capacities you have to perform them. Although, if you have the capacities, that doesn't mean you'll gain the motor control for the skill, you'll still have to practice the skill, but capacities help the learning and feed into skills. On the other hand, I do believe that by practicing the skill you can develop your capacities. For example, by practicing the overhead squat, your mobility should get better.